tell us about laughter yoga, because I really want to know about that.
Yeah, so laughter yoga is really working with that knowledge that if we send with our body that message to the brain will believe it and contribute, help us feel that way. And so laughter yoga was created by Dr. Kataria in India in the 90s, and it's basically we laugh on purpose for no reason. And there are laughter yoga clubs in well over 120 countries all over the world where people get together and they laugh on purpose for no reason. And we like to say that we're... Go ahead.
I'm going to join one. I'm going to join
absolutely.
one because I love to laugh. Yeah.
Yes, laughteryoga.org. We'll show you all the clubs all over the world.
So do you do yoga at the same time, or is the yoga the laughter part of it?
Like the yoga is really the laughter. Yeah, because yoga is really about breath. And if you think about it, when you laugh, you are exhaling usually to a deeper level in your lungs than you normally do. We tend to be real shallow breathers, especially if we're stressed. But when you laugh, you're getting the pent-up old oxygen that's been in the lower part of the lung for a long time all the way out. And so it is prana or breath or yoga. And what it is we do 30 to 45-second little exercises with no words, with no communication other than laughter. So we might be, and usually it's done in a circle so that you can connect, make eye contact and connect with the people you're practicing with, which, by the way, helps the fake laughter, because at first it is just laughing for no reason, fake laughter, but it very quickly becomes real laughter, especially if you're making eye contact. So you might do something as simple as namaste and put your hands up, but instead of actually saying namaste, you laugh out loud as hard as you can. And then we do it 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds, and then take a breather, take a rest, and it's amazing. It gets all of that pent up energy, the oxygen, the stale oxygen out. Your abs hurt if you've not done it before after a 45-minute class of that. Seriously, it's an ab workout, and it does tell your brain you're happy. And there's all kinds of research you can see on that site where they've used it, like with cancer patients and seeing fewer cancer cells after. You know, they measured how many cancer cells were before. They did a laughter yoga class, and then they measured after, and there were fewer cancer cells.
Oh, amazing. So all of you out there, find a laughing yoga class, and like Leah suggested, because I think that would relieve so much stress, because I think in life we get so darn serious, and there's so much going on in our society right now that we get, taken down by that. But I have noticed, I've always loved to laugh, even since I was a little girl. That laughter has been kind of, there's a proverb even in the Bible, it says laughter is good like medicine, I believe. And so that's amazing that it probably just takes away the stress. And so I was curious about that, because I hadn't heard about that.
It's amazing. So I learned from Jeffrey Breyer. I just want to acknowledge him. It was the first Western person to study with Dr. Kataria, and he hosts a laughter yoga club completely free of charge near Bird Rock on Laguna Beach, California. And every morning, 365 days a year at, I forget, you can find it online, it's either 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. They are out there, and they are laughing on the beach. And it's the most amazing thing.
That is great. And Laguna Beach is one of my favorite places. I love that beach. That is so cool. So how can we change? So this is what fascinates me, and we might have to get into this next week, because I've always heard that 90% of our behavior is subconscious, and we're only aware of 10%. So I've always wanted to know, how do I empower more of my subconscious to be coming from my will? You know what I mean? Because, So So that's my question, and we may have to get into, but you can start on it.
Yeah. I'll start with the framework that I use when I'm teaching my clients. Is that for the most part there is a sequence to our behavior and then the result, the outcome as a result of our behavior, and it
okay.
goes. I'll go in reverse order. So we get an outcome. We gain a pound, we lose a pound, or we have a fight or we don't have a fight, or I don't know, anything,
right.
Any kind of outcome or situation. Right before that, we took an action. There was a behavior. That's our habit, right? So
okay.
We listened or we didn't listen, or we said something or we moved or we exercised, or, it's whatever we literally did, which often becomes habit. Just before that, there's an emotion we feel that really drives what we do. And even before that emotion comes, there was a thought, and the thought we're about 5% of the time even aware of it. And neuroscience would say that I read all kinds of reports, somewhere between, we have 70 to 90,000 thoughts a day, and we're probably aware of like 5%. But that thought came from a belief. So the very, very root is a belief. And so when I'm working with a client, I am working that equation, that sequence, backwards, forwards, from the middle out, from the middle to either end. And I say, start where you are. So if you're not aware of even the emotion, just start noticing what you're doing and keep a log, keep a journal. Well, here's what I did today, and then what happened after. Okay, and then you can get to, well, what were you feeling just before that, and start to be more. And by the way, we're taught to suppress our emotion, right? Don't show emotion. Don't get, don't let all that out. Well, then that's how we dissociate. That's how we lose track and don't even know what we're feeling. So some of my clients might already be aware of some feelings, but others have no clue, and they just know something's not working. So we start with, well, what actually are you doing? And then we can peel back those layers.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it's the going back from the emotion to the original thought, and then the thought comes from your belief. What sometimes because I am a highly emotional person, I react. Sometimes then I respond. The responding seems like it would be more from the thought, but sometimes I'm so in the moment that I'm more emotional. You know what I mean? I'm there, and I wish I would take more time in the thought process or figuring out my belief, because I've already reacted because I'm emotional. Does that make sense?
Yes, it definitely makes sense. Yeah. And I would say you're not alone. Most of us are more aware of an emotion, especially if it's an uncomfortable, negative, so-called negative. I try not to even use words like that, because it's one of our rainbow of emotions, right? Some are different colors, but we call it a negative emotion. Most of us we notice that more than a thought, for sure.
Right. And so, so we've just started, and I'm really, really excited. We're going to have to go for today, but I want to continue this conversation because this is so good. What I'd like you to do in closing today is let our audience know how they can get a hold of you. And you had mentioned you had a little free gift for them, so I'd love for you to tell them about that.
Okay, sure. Yes, so my website is www.one, spelled out O-N-E, whole, W-H-O-L-E, health.com. So you can find me there, or I'm on Facebook under Leah Lund, the Brain Coach. And the free gift really goes back to the physical. So we've been talking a bit about the mind and the habits and all of that aspect of the equation. The sequence of things is affected by how physically in shape we are. I'll say it that way. And one of the main ways our brain gets physically out of shape is when it's depleted in its neurotransmitters. And there's a simple self-scoring assessment that I use that I wanted to give your audience So you can know in 5 minutes or less if this is the case for you, if you're depleted in any of these brain chemicals like serotonin or GABA or endorphin or the catecholamine group. So it's 40 different symptoms that occur when you are depleted, and you rate them on a 1 to 10 scale, and the higher the number, the greater the indication of depletion. And then when you complete it, if you'd like to talk with us, with myself or one of my coaches about this, there's a link where you can schedule time to do that.
Perfect. What a generous gift. That sounds absolutely fascinating to me. So what a gift to you, audience, to be able to find out if you are lacking in any of those. So I would encourage you to get that. And then also I want to let you know that Leah will be back here next week where we continue this conversation. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to get a hold of me at LorraineHoving.com, or you can sign up for my email list to get top tips for a healthy and a happy life. Now, it's never too late. It's never too late to lose weight. It is never too late to get your life in order, to live a life of your dreams, to take care of your brain. It is never too late to live a life of purpose. It is just never too late ever. Thank you, Leah, and we'll see you back here next week.